Welcome back to the channel, Outriders. This is the Blightbearer. Now, I'm a big fan of this gun for so many reasons. I can't wait to get into it, but those are the perks that come on it by default. I chose to not mess with it. I'm curious. I still want to sample around with the resistance perk. There's a lot of data to go through still, but this thing, I think, is going to be exceptional on all classes. But I think it's really going to shine on Technomancer and Pyro. Yes, I said Pyro, and I want to explain why here in a second. But this gun hits really hard, and I couldn't be happier to see it fall on rifles, because rifles are very, very dominant inside of Outriders. Now, what I like about this gun is beyond the aesthetic, because honestly, I'm one of those guys, for some reason, the old-fashioned Plague Doctor and just all of that stuff, it's just a cool little appearance and look to me. So I think the gun looks cool. It's simple, it's clean, it's one flat color, but it's still really nice. Really nice. So, pushing that aside, yeah, you cute, this gun is honestly one of the best guns in the game right now, and I'm confident in saying that because of how dominant rifles are. Now, the perks are great, and I want to explain why. Now, obviously, toxicity synergizes and builds a lot around the Technomancer, right? So if you're talking top tree Pestilence, that whole thing builds around toxicity, but this gun also allows you to spread it very frequently, which may allow you to deviate from the upper tier Pestilence, maybe just get that vulnerability on, and then build more into anomaly power on the bottom, and then work with that resistance. So there's kind of a level of freedom that this gun grants you because it's got that extra toxicity built into it. It's got a lot of sources. Blighted rounds are still going to be necessary because of the extra boost in damage that you're going to notice here in a second, but I gotta say that I am really in love with this weapon, and I don't know if it's going to be like the best of the best weapon, but for just honestly somebody that loves rifles and somebody that wants to run, this is a great gun on all classes. That being said, it'll excel on Technomancer. The reason I said this might be good and viable on Pyro is because there are a lot of people that are going to build Pyro for combos and build into anomaly power. So if you take the anomaly power from Pyro, burn abilities, you couple it with this gun that also grants you poison abilities, and now you have two sources of dot damage that you're stacking on, and that could be very, very valuable to the Pyromancer. So this gun has a lot of capabilities, a lot of potential on a lot of different classes, and it just on its own, even without any of the mods applied, it's still going to be a good gun on every class as long as you're building into firepower, and I'm a big fan of what it can do. I love it on infinite ammo builds, and you're noticing I wasn't hitting very hard just right there, right? And then I put in blighted rounds. So you're still going to need to have blighted rounds, but it might give you a little bit more freedom on how you want to spread, or even so cut back on the duration, because I know the further part of Pestilence Tree, you know, extra duration and all that stuff, but you don't really have to worry about the duration of the build or the duration of toxicity when you can spread it so freely. So, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities with this gun. I gotta say it's one of my favorites so far, and I think the combination between this is basically the Pyromancer's version of the Inferno Seed that I mentioned earlier on the previous video. That, you know, it is great, and it's obviously designated to work with a Blight build, hence the Blight in the name, but it might actually have more value added to the Pyro than the Techno, and I'm curious to see how this one rolls out. So, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy hunting out there for all the legendaries. If you haven't checked out the other legendaries on the channel, you can go ahead and do that. I put together a playlist. I will leave linked in the description of this video, but there's a lot of legendaries out there, and we're going to keep them coming at you. So thanks again for the support. See you with another one soon.